Hey Doc, you're leaving that toxic associateship you were at. Exciting times ahead, I'm sure of it. But what's happening with your current 401k? According to Google.ai, too many people forget about their 401ks when they transfer jobs, and this can cost you big time. Don't be like these other people and let your 401k just sit there collecting dust. Today, let's talk about the options and how you can protect your hard-earned retirement monies. As I alluded to already, one option is just to leave your money within your 401k at your old employer. This is if they'll even allow that, but there's obviously a catch with this. When you leave that money behind, you lose control of future contributions. Most 401ks have very limited investment options, and you don't know what they're going to do with those retirement accounts, your old employer. That brings us to option two. Option two is to roll it over to your new job's 401k. This is again if your new job has a 401k and there are similar types to make the rollover even possible. Rolling it over to your new account certainly makes your life easier. Everything's in one place, so it'll be easier to manage. But again, the plans might not be the same, so this might not even be an option. So check on this before you decide to go this route. That brings us to option three. You can transfer the money from your current 401k into an IRA, an individual retirement account. So if you want the most control, rolling it over into your own IRA is going to do this. When it's your IRA, you get to call all the shots. So here's why this is the best move in my mind. Number one, more choices. Remember just a minute ago, I talked about how 401ks have very limited options. Well, IRAs tend to have the full gambit of everything. They got stocks, they got bonds, they got ETFs, you name it, they typically have it. So it gives you many more options of where you can put that money in having it work for you. Number two, typically IRAs have lower admin fees than 401ks. So obviously lower fees means more money actually invested, which means more money that can compound, which likely means more money for you in the future. Number three, you maintain complete control. As dentists, we all talk about autonomy. We all want full autonomy with our clinical treatments. We should absolutely want full autonomy with our money. So when it's in your own IRA, it's your account and you control it. So no middleman. The last option, so option number four, is you could just withdraw the money from your 401k and put it in your bank account. If you aren't retirement aged, this will certainly trigger penalties and taxes. And due to the penalties and taxes, this is typically a very poor choice for docs. So now we've discussed the four options. It's probably becoming clear that either rolling it over to your new 401k or I guess transferring it into your own IRA is probably going to be the best options. So the obvious next step is to talk about how we can transfer it to an IRA on a step-by-step basis. So step one, you need to open an IRA type account. Some of the best options are Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. All these companies have low fees, many investment options. They got tools to help you. So really, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those three. Number two, so once you have your provider picked and you've set up the account, you're going to request a direct rollover. So you're going to call your old 401k provider and ask for a direct rollover. When you do the direct rollover, this is going to avoid those taxes or penalties that I talked about as if you withdrew the money to your account. More often than not, the funds go from your 401k directly to your new IRA. I've also seen online that some 401ks will write a check out to your new IRA. Make sure that check's written out to the new IRA account, not to your personal. Again, obviously, pro tip is to never deposit if you get that check into any of your own personal accounts. That would trigger the penalty and the taxes. If you get that check, be an educated associate and just get it over to your new IRA provider as soon as possible. The last step is step number three, and that's going to be to choose your investments. So once those funds from your 401k land in your IRA, it's critical that you choose where you want to invest it. So one of the most common investment mistakes of novice investors is that they have 401ks or they have IRAs and the money's just sitting there. It's not actually invested in any type of actual investment. Think stocks, bonds, mutual funds. So I'd be looking for something that matches the market. Again, with Vanguard, that can be like ticker VOO or something else along those lines. So now you're fully prepared with the knowledge on how to transfer that money into your new IRA, but how do you decide which provider to use? Well, I've got you covered here too. So when you're going to pick an IRA provider, there's a couple of things to look for. Number one, and this is the most important thing in my mind, is having low fees. So you don't want to have your retirement savings being eaten up by admin fees. So again, I like to invest in exchange traded funds They kind of evaluate the admin fees around these funds with something known as an expense ratio. Vanguard tends to boast expense ratios around 0.08. The national average, according to Google.ai, is about 0.4%. So if you can find an expense ratio around 0.1%, then I think that's a great option. Number 2, they should have many investment options, index funds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds. If they've got all those different things, you're probably going to be fine. My last qualifier is, do they offer support? So if you need to call them and ask, hey, I got this money in this 401k, I need to transfer it to you, how can I get that to you? If you're met with a blank dial or you're never able to communicate with a human, you might not figure out how to make that transfer happen. So I think having a little bit of support with the person you're going to invest with is a great idea. When I do my own research, again, just for a reminder, the 3 main groups that I would consider are Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. So I'm just kind of check them all out, see which one's best for you. Wow, well, we sure covered a lot today in this video. Comment below with what you'd rather do. Leave it with your old employer, transfer it to your new 401k, roll it into an IRA, or take the money out and go shopping. In the meantime, and as always, stay drilling, my friends.